Welcome to GripeCast with your host, Alex Hernandez. This show is dedicated to consumer technology news and pop culture. GripeCast is owned by TECHAERIS. Visit TECHAERIS.com for the latest tech reviews, news, entertainment, and pop culture. Now sit tight, the show's about to begin. All right, welcome to GripeCast, episode 27. This is the least listened to podcast on the internet. So consider yourselves privileged and lucky for being just a handful of people who know that I exist. And I'm okay with that. But, hey, feel free to share, like, subscribe, do all those things. But we got some breaking news today, and I was not going to do a podcast today, but I did get my Galaxy Z Fold 6 review done. I'll link that below. Make sure you read that. So I feel accomplished, and I feel like I can actually record this. But about 32 minutes ago, I saw breaking news that the United States is considering a rare antitrust move, breaking up Google. Now, if it's actually going to happen, that's a whole nother story. I don't know that this is even going to be a possibility, because that'd be something. I'll tell you that. We're just going to read through this article because I actually haven't even read it. I saw the headline on X, and I was like, I need to record a podcast on this because you guys know the issues I've had with Google, and man, this is going to be nice if this actually happens. I'm not going to gain anything from it other than the joy of watching them suffer. And I guarantee you right now that I'm looking over at my podcast from yesterday on YouTube, and actually not yesterday's, but the day before yesterday. And this is the one talking about Google being a monopoly, and that has the least amount of views on YouTube of all my podcasts. And it's probably because it's being suppressed by Google. They don't want this stuff. I'm going to post this on YouTube, but I guarantee you that it'll get suppressed. It won't get as much traction. So make sure you follow me on Rumble. That's where I am posting a video first, is on Rumble. We are all in on Rumble. Make sure you're following on Rumble. Make sure you subscribe there on Rumble. And I really appreciate that. Let's get into it right now. So it says, this is from Bloomberg. It says, a rare bid to break up Alphabet Inc.'s Google is one of the options being considered by the Justice Department after a landmark court ruling that the company monopolized the online search market, according to people with knowledge of the deliberations. This move would be Washington's first push to dismantle a company for illegal monopolization since unsuccessful efforts to break up Microsoft Corp. 2 decades ago. Less severe options include forcing Google to share more data with competitors and measure to prevent it from gaining an unfair advantage in AI products, said the people who asked not to be identified discussing private conversations. Okay, so there you go. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember when they tried to break Microsoft up. Microsoft resisted. It didn't work. And this is, as excited as I am, this is a big reason why I don't think that it's going to happen. Hopefully something good happens out of it, but I don't think that Google's going to get broken up. Microsoft didn't get broken up. I don't think these guys will either. Still, fun to think about. Regardless, the government will likely seek a ban on the type of exclusive contracts that were at the center of its case against Google. If the Justice Department pushes ahead with a breakup plan, the most likely units for disinvestment are the Android operating system and Google's web browser Chrome, said the people. Officials are also looking at trying to force a possible sale of AdWords, the platform the company uses to sell text advertising, one of the people said. All right, let's go over that paragraph because there's a lot to unpack there. That's huge. Regardless, the government will likely seek a ban on the type of exclusive. So they're going to go after the contracts. So you see the contracts that Google has with Apple to be default on the iPhone, on Safari. The contracts they have with Samsung to be default on the Galaxies on the browser there, to have the Chrome browser as the default, because Samsung phones have their own browser, and you can do what you want with that browser, but Chrome is default. because of the contracts that they sign. And same thing they do with Firefox and other browsers. They pay these other companies to be exclusive, and that looks like it might be in jeopardy with this. And then it goes on to say, if the Justice Department pushes ahead with a breakup plan, the most likely units for divestment are the Android operating system and Google's web browser Chrome. So it looks like they're going to be going. Android is huge. That's a huge piece of the business. That is one of the Google's main business is ads. Okay, the reason Google search works really well is because it knows you, and if you are under the illusion that Google search is so good that you can't use any other search engine, it's only because you've been programmed that way. Google knows your habits, it knows your likes, it knows your dislikes, it's listening to you constantly. So that's why it serves you the relevant information that you enjoy. So it's their algorithm. It's how they've operated for years. So separating their ad business from their operating system might be a good thing, and their web browser. So it goes on to say officials are also looking at trying to force a possible sale of AdWords. That's huge too, because AdWords is a major component of the Google business. Like I just said earlier, ads are a huge component. I mean, that makes up the bulk, I think, of their revenue. And selling AdWords, what AdWords is, that's the platform that advertisers use to target you. The AdWords, you can start an AdWords account and you can run ads on Google. It doesn't take that much to set up. Actually, it does cost a pretty penny. I've used AdWords 2 or 3 times, and I've spent a total of maybe $1,000, maybe a little more than that, with very little return. The thing with AdWords is you have to spend a lot of money to get any sort of return on your investment. If you spend little amounts of money, $1,000, $2,000, you're not going to see a lot of traffic come. And that's part of our struggle. That's part of my struggle with TECHAERIS is I don't have the marketing budget that these bigger websites have, and they pay Google to be on the top searches with AdWords and other ways. So to see AdWords sold off, that is very huge and very interesting. I can't say that that's going to happen. I don't know that that's going to happen, but it might. Who knows? That's to me almost the next best thing is breaking Google up, because that's almost breaking it up completely. The article goes on to say the Justice Department discussions have intensified in the wake of Judge. I'm not going to pronounce his name. In the wake of the judge's August 5th ruling that Google illegally monopolized the markets of online search and search text ads. Google has said it will appeal the decision, but the judge has ordered both sides to begin plans for the second phase of the case, which will involve the government's proposal for restoring competition, including a possible breakup request. Huge. I knew Google was going to, and I said in my last podcast, or at least in the Monopoly podcast, I knew they were going to file an appeal. So, I mean, that's just normal operating procedure. But it's very interesting that the judge is instructing both sides to move ahead with what might happen if the appeal isn't granted. So that is kind of telling in some ways, I think. The Alphabet shares fell as much as 2.5% to 160.11 in after-hours trading before erasing some losses. Google spokesman declined to comment on the possible remedy. A Justice Department spokeswoman also declined to comment. The U.S. plan will need to be accepted by the judge, Mehta. It's hard to, I don't know his name. So the judge will need to accept the plan if whatever proposal is put in place. He'll need to accept that. who would direct the company to comply. Okay. A forced breakup of Google would be the biggest of a U.S. company since AT&T was dismantled in the 1980s. So while Microsoft was not broken up, AT&T was. I do remember that. I was young, but I remember my parents talking about that, and I do remember adults talking about it at the time. So it's while not, I'll just say, okay, probably not going to happen, but there is the slimmest of margins that it might. So hey, if there's that slimmest of margins, I'm in. I'm there, man. Let's do it. All right. Justice Department attorneys who have been consulting with companies affected by Google's practices have raised concerns in their discussions that the company's search dominance gives it advantages in developing artificial intelligence technology, the people said. As part of a remedy, the government might seek to stop the company from forcing websites to allow their content to be used for some Google AI products in order to appear in search results. And there you go. I mean, they have taken my content without my permission. They have scraped my site, and they have pushed me down in search results, and they've done that to multiple independent sites. I'm not the only one. I'm pissed off about it, and this would be awesome, but I just don't know. I mean, they have the data already. I hope that, I don't know if the course of action is for them to return the data or erase the data and not use that data anymore in their algorithms, in their AI algorithms. But whatever, I like this part too. I'm getting excited. I'm excited. Man, you don't even know. Oh man. So the Pixel event was today. I didn't even cover that because I am not in the mood for Google. I covered the deals that T-Mobile and Verizon are doing for the Pixel, but I didn't cover the Google event because I'm like, man, these guys are ridiculous. Now, if one of the mobile carriers send me a Pixel to review, I'll probably review that as a hardware review, and I probably won't be so kind in the software section of that review. But anyway, the Pixels are out. The new Pixel 9 series is out. Check the website for T-Mobile and Verizon deals. They're there. Let's get back to this article. Divesting the Android operating system used on about 2.5 billion devices worldwide is one of the remedies that's been most frequently discussed by the Justice Department attorneys. According to sources. All right. In his decision, the judge found that Google requires device makers to sign agreements to gain access to its apps like Gmail and the Google Play Store. And it does. It does. You have to, the Samsung, OnePlus, LG, well, they don't make phones anymore. HTC, finally making another phone. Vivo, all the Android makers have to sign an agreement with Google in order to access its apps. And people complain about Apple's App Store and their requirements, but nobody says a thing about Google. But Google does have these same kind of agreements and requirements. So don't get all flaky, don't get all crazy on Apple, because Google does the same stupid things. These agreements also require that Google's search widget and Chrome browser be installed on devices in such a way that they can't be deleted, effectively preventing any other search engines from competing, he found. So this is the deal. So people will say, well, you can install install whatever browser you want. You can go and download DuckDuckGo. You can download this, or you download here, and blah blah blah. Yes, you can, but you can't get rid of Google. You can't get rid of Chrome. You have the search widget. On many phones you can't move, and then you have the swipe to the left to get to the Google news feed. So most users, unlike you and I, most users, unlike tech-savvy users who want a choice, know they can disable Chrome, know that they can install Brave or whatever they want. But most users, that's the 90, I'm going to say 90, well, maybe I'll say 99%. It might be 98%, 97%, I don't know. But the majority of users are not going to change a thing. And that's why Google is able to be dominant, because they're just there, and that's what people use. And the judge is completely right here, in my opinion. I mean, I'm biased. I should have prefaced this. I mean, if you haven't been listening to GripeCast, then I should preface it. I should have prefaced this with, I have a bias. I am angry with Google, and I'm happy with this ruling. So, yeah, know that. Those who have been following me for a long time already know this. They know that I started this podcast because of Google and the mess that they put us in. The article goes on to say the judge's decision follows a verdict by a California jury in December that found the company monopolized Android app distribution. A judge in that case hasn't yet decided on relief. The FTC, which also enforces antitrust laws, filed a brief in that case this week and said in a statement that Google shouldn't be allowed to reap the rewards of illegal monopolization. Google paid as much as $26 billion to companies to make its search engine the default on devices and web browsers, with $20 billion of that going, oh my gosh, woo, $20 billion of that going to Apple. So $26 billion they've paid to various companies to be the default search engine, and $20 billion of that went to Apple. Holy cow. That's crazy. I don't use... the first thing I do when I on my iPhone, right here, first thing I do is get rid of Google. I don't even use Safari. I use Brave and I use Firefox. All right. Judge's ruling also found Google monopolized the advertisements that appear at the top of search result pages to draw users to websites known as search text ads. Those are sold via Google Ads, which was rebranded from AdWords in 2018 and offers marketers a way to run ads against certain search keywords and related to their business. About 2/3 of Google's total revenue comes from... Wow. 2/3 of Google's total revenue comes from search ads, amounting to more than $100 billion in 2020, according to testimony from last year's trial. And that's even more now than 2020. We're 2024 now. I can't imagine that's gone up substantially. Holy crap. If the Justice Department doesn't call for Google to sell off AdWords, it would ask for interoperability requirements that would make it seamless on other search engines, the people said. Another data access. Another option would require Google to divest or license its data to rivals such as Microsoft's Bing or DuckDuckGo. The judge rulings found that Google's contracts ensure not only that its search engine gets the most user data, 16 times as much as its next closest competitor, but that data stream also keeps its rivals from improving their search results and competing effectively. Holy moly, I can't even read. I'm reading so fast. Holy crap. Wow. So, in essence here, 16 times as much as its next closest competitor. That means that Google is receiving their data stream is 16 times more effective than their competition. And if the judge rules on the data access, that means they'll have to share those data streams with competitors. Crazy. Europe's recently enacted digital gatekeeper rules imposed a similar requirement that Google make available some of its data to third-party search engines. The company has said publicly that sharing data can pose user privacy concerns, so it only makes available information on search... Oh, gosh. User privacy concerns. Google has no concern for your privacy. They have concern for your data because they want your data. They don't want to share your data with anybody else. They want your data for themselves. They don't give a shit about your privacy. Let me tell you that right now. They don't give a crap about your privacy. Requiring monopolists to allow rivals to have some access to technology has been remedied in previous cases. In the Justice Department's first case against AT&T in 1956, the company was required to provide royalty-free licenses to its patents. In the antitrust case against Microsoft, the settlement required the Redmond, Washington tech giant to make some of its so-called application programming interfaces, or APIs, available to third parties for free. APIs are used to ensure that the software programs can effectively communicate and exchange data with each other. Okay, at least I know all that. AI products. Okay, so AI is the new big thing. They touched on AI today in their presentation, and AI is big on it. Everybody's into AI. Samsung and Samsung's working with Google on AI. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects Samsung and their AI plans. And yeah, it'll just be interesting overall. But here's what the article says. It says, for years, websites have allowed Google's web crawler access to ensure that they appear in the company's search results. But more recently, some of the data has been used to help Google develop its AI. Yes, it's been using my data to help develop its AI, that's for sure. And other websites that they don't give a crap about. Last fall, Google created a tool to allow websites to block scraping for AI. And I did use that, by the way, scraping for AI. But look, I'm going to stop there. Google created a tool to allow websites to block scraping for AI. So you go in and you basically go into your account and you say, I don't want Google to scrape my website with Gemini. Gemini needs to stay away from my website. But I don't trust that. I think they're still scraping. That's my opinion. Back to the article. Allow websites to block scraping for AI after companies complained. But that opt-out doesn't apply to everything. In May, Google announced that some searches will now come with AI overviews, narrative responses that spare people the task of clicking through various links. That is the point of search. Holy crap, Google. You are a publisher now. You realize that, right? I'm a publisher. Your only job is to provide links to relevant information that people need, not to post overviews. Your publishing is what you're doing. You're publishing, you're stealing people's content and truncating it and using 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 different websites to create an AI overview and then republishing it on Google so that they don't click our links. That is bull. Dang. Man, this is a hot GripeCast. I am griping today, aren't I? Holy crap. Let me go back. All right, in May, Google announced that some searches will now come with AI overviews and narrative responses that spare people the task of clicking through various links. The AI-powered panel appears underneath queries, presenting summarized information drawn from Google search results from across the web. And I just said all that. So Google doesn't allow website publishers to opt out of appearing in AI overviews since they are a feature of search, not a separate product. Websites can block Google from using snippets, but that applies to both search and the AI overviews. While AI overviews only appear on a fraction of searches, the feature's rollout has been rocky after some experts offered embarrassing suggestions like advising people to eat rocks or put glue on pizza. Guys, this is crazy. I mean, this is... I don't want to get my hopes up, okay? I don't want to get... I'm getting excited. I'm getting heated. Oh, man. I hope I'm not blowing out your speakers. But I'm excited because there's a possibility that even the thinnest and smallest margin of possibility that Google's going to get punished here. Finally, instead of just a stinking fine that they pay, a $10 million, $15 million fine. They've been fined 110 times in the EU, and the EU hasn't done anything. And we've done nothing here. They continue to be a monopoly. That's what they are. That's what they'll continue to be if we don't break them up. If we don't stop them from being the biggest thing on the internet. So that's it. That's it. Man. Oh, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of GripeCast, episode whatever it is, 27? Yes, episode 27. This is probably going to be my loudest and most craziest GripeCast I've ever done. I am both excited and frustrated and angry. I'm a lot of things right now. I got a whole potpourri of emotion going through my body right now. Wide awake, and man, that's crazy. I'm excited. Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast. Please, if you're not following me on any of the platforms that I'm on, please, first and foremost, follow me on X and Rumble, MeWe. We're on Getter. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. I'm on Minds, on Truth Social, on Locals, Instagram, even on Threads. We're everywhere. I'm everywhere. I don't care what platform I'm on. I just want people to enjoy the content that I make. And yes, I'm on YouTube. This video, when this gets posted on YouTube, is probably not going to be seen very much because Google's not going to like it. They can't stop me from saying what I'm saying, but they can surely suppress me, which they've done, and they will probably continue to do. So please follow me on Rumble. If you're watching this on YouTube, head over to Rumble, get a Rumble account, subscribe, find some content over there. Yeah, Rumble's a lot smaller, and Rumble has a lot of weird political type content on there, but we need to change that. We need to start getting some other content on there. I am trying, and if you're watching this on Rumble now, please share the channel, share us out, tell people to follow, help us grow. It's the only way we can get off of YouTube and get YouTube. We need change. We need change, just like we need to break up Google. We need to break up with some of these other platforms that we're all using, and start making new platforms, and start sharing and liking and sharing and subscribing and commenting and working together. I can't do it without you guys. I appreciate it. You guys have been great. Everybody who follows me, I'm the least listened to podcast on the internet, and maybe someday I'll have hundreds of thousands of listeners at some point, and I'll still say that I'm the least listened to podcast on the internet because I love that line. So hey, it is Tuesday, August 13th. This has been GripeCast episode 27. I appreciate you guys highly. Take care of yourselves. Be kind. Say a kind word to someone today, and we will talk to you on the other side.